Folks, it's showtime. It is 12 o'clock. Actually, it's 12:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the Remodelers Show with yours truly, Kyle Hunt. I think this is episode about 23 or so. If you go to theremodellershow.com, your best bet is to click on the YouTube link, and that'll show a playlist of all the different shows that we've done. We've been going back and updating the title of each with kind of maybe the main theme or a main takeaway from each show. You can also catch a lot of the shows via replay by looking up the Remodelers on the Rise podcast. You can do that on Apple. You can do that on your podcast app. You can do that via remodellersontherise.com. So we're here today to hopefully give you some ideas that will help you improve your remodeling business. Rhonda says, glad you're back up and running. We are back up and running this week, Rhonda. We got 5 shows for you. On Friday last week, we had fairs with Ottawa General Contractors. He showed us this kitchen estimating tool that was really, really slick. It'd be good for you to go back. You'd have to go to the show from Friday, which was back on... When was it actually? Hang on. I think I got my times all mixed up. That wasn't Friday. I was up north on Friday. That was back on Tuesday of last week. And then yesterday, that was Tuesday the 14th. And then yesterday we had Paul McManus on with McManus Kitchen and Bath. And he walked us through his good, better, best, transparent, powerful, interesting way he approaches his sales process with prospects. So those are 2 that you might want to check out. Tomorrow, I've got Ed Earl, who is a bit of an expert, a fellow business coach, fellow colleague of mine and friend of mine. He's got a lot of knowledge related to Buildertrend and Co-Construct and all those project management softwares, and is just a really knowledgeable guy. And then you're stuck with just me on Thursday, and then Brian Sebring will be joining me on Friday for the Remodelers Show. Okay, and Bailey says it was Tuesday. Yeah, thank you. And Ernie, yay, I finally have the time to be here again. Good to see you, Ernie. Way to jump back into the fold. All right, so let's see here. Let me start with this. I won't get too religious on you, but how would I want to describe this? The last 30 minutes I spent with a good friend of mine who needed to talk, needed to share something, and my mind is still kind of going a mile a minute from that. Just a really beautiful story. But here's how I want to maybe describe it. We all have plans in our day. We have plans for our day. I had thought, you know what, from 11:30 to 12 o'clock, I'm going to prep for the Remodeler Show, just kind of organize a few of my thoughts. Buddy reached out. He needed to talk. I had my half-hour slot from 11:30 to noon there, and I called an audible and said, meeting with my buddy Andy is more important than properly preparing for the Remodeler Show. I'll figure it out. And I think we need to be on the lookout for people that we need to be reaching out to and connecting and supporting. We need to make time for friends, for family, to invest time in them and with them. And sometimes that means that other work that may need to get done or that may be a priority needs to just take the back seat. It'll still be there when you're ready to pick it back up, but we need to be flexible to realize, this happens with your team, with your employees, with your trade partners. You notice somebody's stressed. You notice somebody's, overwhelmed. Are you taking the time to lean into that and getting into the weeds and the mess of it and supporting and helping and encouraging and praying? Or are you leaning back and saying, I don't really have the time to deal with that right now. Good luck. Right now with everything going on, we need to be leaning into those conversations. So I ain't prepared for the Remodeler Show today, but I feel pretty darn good at it because I leaned into something that and made time for something that was really important. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's someone that comes to your mind that you could reach out to, that you could support, that you could connect with, and lean into that. Ernie says, here. Good. All right, I do have some things prepped though. So let's get into the next part of that. Let me get my sound effects because this show without sound effects is terrible. But with sound effects like this, It's an excellent show. First one up, honor the absent. Honor the absent. What is this related to? This is a little phrase I learned years ago, and I posted it on the Remodelers community this morning and got a little, I wouldn't say it's viral, but it got some attention. Just like 5P, proper preparation prevents poor performance, is a good thing to kind of embed into your company culture. To be able to go to one of your employees and say, hey, excellent job 5Ping that. Hey, we didn't 5P this, and now we're scrambling for materials. We're scrambling to line things up. It's a phrase you can embed into your business. This phrase, honor the absent, is another one that is good to embed into your business. If you have a team member, if you have a trade partner that's talking smack about another person on the team, that's talking a little smack about a trade partner, that's talking a little smack about a client. I know that would never happen, that we would ever talk negatively about a client, because they're all wonderful and they never bug you. But that could happen from time to time. To have it as part of your business, how you roll is, hey, let's honor the absent. Let's honor the absent. We're not gonna go down that road. Honor the absent. Basically meaning, if they were sitting in front of us, you wouldn't be saying that. So shut it. Stop it. Honor the absent. It's a good phrase to embed, like I said, into your business. It's also a good phrase to embed into maybe life outside of work. Great thing to teach kids. Great thing to remind ourselves with. So there's a quick thought. Couple fairly poignant, little deeper thoughts to start the Remodelers show today. All right, moving on to this next section that goes a little bit like this.
It's time for today's Marketing Minute.
Today's Marketing Minute. This is a reminder and an encouragement and another little nudge or push to get creative with creating content. Get creative with creating content. I was on the phone earlier today with one of my clients, and we were brainstorming content creation. We've been pretty consistent with just some good posts, some good remodeling related posts, and how to plan for projects, and some good examples of our work. And what I was pushing them to do is just take it up another level. I gave an example of one of my clients out in Nebraska. Hey, Nate's Custom Renovations, longtime client of mine, and they made a post recently that outperformed, meaning it got more likes, comments, shares, just overall views than anything else they have ever posted on their social media accounts. Do I have your attention? And what was it? Well, it was not just a picture of another beautiful kitchen. It was not this, it was not that. What it was is the 7 of them were actually together in the same room for a meeting, and they said, hey, let's get a picture of the team. And it was just this lovely picture of the full 7 of them in front of one of their vehicles. And they tagged some of their employees in it, and just comments, clients saying, I haven't seen Charlie in so long. It's great to see him. Oh, you guys look so happy. Oh, we love you guys. Oh, they're, people sharing it and saying, this is the team that did our kitchen last year. We love them. Just a lot of buzz. And why is that? It's because it was more personalized, right? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. People do business with, we need to let people into our world a little bit. Feature one of your employees. Take a picture and say, hey, this is Steve. Steve has been with us for the last 10 years. Clients absolutely love him because he's fun and he's excellent. We just love Steve, and just he's such a valuable part of our team. Post that. Steve's not going to be happy when you say, Steve, can you pose there? I'm going to take your picture. He ain't going to like that. But get that, post it, tag him or tag his spouse, and just let that go out there. Give more insight into who your team is. Show all of the little things that you do on job sites. If you had a prospect, an ideal prospect right next to you, walking on that job site with you, what would you show them? What would you highlight? Maybe you'd show them your build clean system. You'd show them the steps you take to organize your job. You'd show them what you do before you put on the drywall and how you did this so it's longer lasting. You'd show them how you trim out the window in a certain way to make it last long. You'd show them a cool new faucet where you just kind of put your hand in front of it and it turns on. You'd show them the really sweet backsplash in the kitchen. So these types of things, either take a quick video, but even just taking a quick picture and showing them is really good content. You guys are remodelers. You guys are also content creators. You are a content creator. That's one of your jobs. You have to create content. It was not as important in 1995. It was not as important in 2005, starting to get important. It's very important now. And guess what? As far as cutting through the clutter, as far as differentiating your remodeling business, as far as explaining what makes you unique and different, as far as attracting leads, it is going to continue to be more and more important to create content about who you are, what you're about, the value you deliver, who's on your team, and why you are great to work with. So keep experimenting with that. Keep working on it. Do some things that are a little uncomfortable and create content. There's your marketing 6 minutes. Here, let me just edit this. Marketing 6 minutes. Just had to update the name of that. Okay, we're cruising. Boy, I could really use some questions today. I've got some more things, but boy, everybody watching live, I could really use some comments in the old box. You can do that not only on the Remodelers Community Facebook page. Ernie's on YouTube right now, but also as of yesterday, we're streaming live on LinkedIn. Where's my LinkedIn audience? What are some questions? A little Ask Kyle Anything. I'm going to sit in this for a good 30, 45 seconds and just see what pops. I'm not in a hurry. Uh-oh, I already got one. Bailey, I was excited because somebody commented there. And I appreciate the comment. You love the precise title update. I aim to please. Marketing 6 minutes. Alan. My man, Alan, which I agree. Your wife and daughter are beautiful. I'm glad that you put them as your profile picture instead of your beautiful mug. But I need more question here, my friend Alan. Yeah, maybe I'd like to know what you say yeah to. Edit has an unusual question, so we're going to hang out and see what she has. I'd love for you to type that in, Edit. The other thing I'll highlight, and I've got some other things if you guys don't share questions, but my father and two sons and I were out of town last Wednesday through Friday. You may have noticed the Remodeler show was blank last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we were up, I was speaking at the Home Builder Association of the Upper Peninsula. They had an outdoor little barbecue. And during that time, I thought to myself, Kyle, your office is not clean. Bailey comes in here once a week or so, at least before Corona. Like, you should have your office like organized and clean. And I paid somebody to come in and clean and organize and put things away and decorate. And it is such an enjoyable environment to work. So there's a random item for you. If you've got a pile of papers on your desk that have not been touched and that maybe old magazines, purging those and cleaning out the clutter, it impacts our ability to work. I'm just getting rid of the clutter, seeing something that's nicely organized. It just helps your mood versus, there's that stack that I need to do something with someday. If you've got a stack that you've been meaning to read or go through and it's been 9 months, rest assured you can probably just throw it away. Clean up the clutter. It actually is very helpful. I have a client who spent a couple days with their team last week and they cleaned out their shop. And he's like, Kyle, I just feel so much better. We can organize things easier. We know where everything is. That 2 days we spent really cleaning and getting rid of old stuff is going to actually probably make us money in the way we're organized. Plus, it just feels good. So there's kind of a random thought for you. What was your takeaway from that event? Ron, are you talking about the Home Builder Association of the Upper Peninsula? A couple takeaways. One is Marquette, Michigan is gorgeous. It's way up here. This is the Upper Peninsula. This is the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. Marquette's way up here. It's absolutely gorgeous, which we're surprised by. Number two, I'm braver than I thought. I think that I jumped off this, I'll call it a cliff. Some might call it just a little 13-foot hill or cliff thing. But Lake Superior is up there. Lake Superior is very cold, and I jumped off that with my two boys, which was exciting. Takeaway from that event, I did a top 10 things to do when you're busy. Top 10 things to be reminded of when you're busy. And I was reminded of how Sometimes just very practical ideas. Eat your frog. Practical ideas. $10, $100, $1,000. Practical ideas. Prioritize your day. There's just a lot of practical ideas that can really help us through our days. There's several things people came up and just, I needed to hear that idea about prioritizing. So that would be maybe my takeaway. Can you talk about virtual employee management, delegating, tracking tasks? Oh, that's good. And then let's see, we got several of them here. Okay, you guys are cranking now. Rhonda just wanted to share this. I clean my desk at the end of the day, so when I come in the AM, it's nice and clean and ready to work. Absolutely. Ernie says, what is a sales funnel or CRM? Bailey, I'll come back to your question. Thank you for that. Ernie, Ask How Anything section of things. What's a sales funnel / CRM? So from a remodeler standpoint, instead of having a stack of folders on your desk or a stack of folders on the wall that may be all of your sales opportunities that you have out there, it is very helpful to have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management software. It could be a program like Act or Job Nimbus or Entreport, a way that you can log into the software. You can see all of your clients, past clients. You can organize it by your sales pipeline. So you might have appointment to be set, appointment scheduled, going on initial meeting, designs in progress, done proposal for, haven't signed, jobs in progress, meaning I've signed it, but it's not completed yet, and then completed jobs. Just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so of what your sales pipeline looks like. A CRM system can help, and a sales funnel can help you organize that, where I can click a button and I can see the 7 people that are in done proposal for, haven't signed. And by having that organized, it's much easier for me to follow up with them, to see the notes related to them, to have all of their contact details in one spot. The other thing that you have with a CRM system is when you add somebody new in there, you're tracking how did they hear about us. You're tracking where your marketing is producing results. So that's another benefit of it. And then the other thing is when you add somebody to a CRM, a lot of times by doing that, you're also just adding them to your overall database, so that when you use remodelersautopilot.com, you can try it for $1, by the way, the first month. When you use a program like remodelersautopilot.com, all of our previous clients and prospects are on an organized list, so it's easy for us to consistently communicate with them. So good question, Ernie, and that's kind of what that is. Let's get some other questions flowing. I got several of you who seem feisty and ready to post some questions. Keep them coming. Edit, I see that you said I have an unusual question. I'm still looking for it, so feel free to send that out. So Bailey says, can you talk about virtual employee management, delegating, tracking tasks, etc.? Sure. So one thought on this is, don't jump to the conclusion, Mr. or Mrs. Remodeler, that you have to have somebody on site. They have to be in your office in order for it to be effective. I know a lot of remodelers who have virtual assistants, who have people that aren't in their showroom and maybe or shop or office, and maybe you've even experienced it yourself of thinking, wow, we were still fairly productive even with some of my team working remotely over the last few months. One of the big things here is you need to meet with them consistently. I was talking to a client who has a virtual assistant, and he wasn't meeting with them regularly. So a couple ideas related to this. You need to have blitz meetings. Bailey Kyle blitz meetings is what we call them. There should be several scattered throughout the week. This gives, in Bailey's case, it gives her an opportunity to save some questions for me and say, okay, I have 3 or 4 items. It allows me to forward something to her and say, hey, add this to the blitz list. And if we didn't do that, we would be emailing back and forth more. It would be taking up more time. But when we organize it into one meeting, that helps crank through tasks and work quicker and easier. That's a big. You're using Zoom where we're seeing each other. Bailey came in a few weeks ago, and it was the first time we've seen each other in person in 3 months. But it really wasn't a big deal because we see each other every day via Zoom. So while Zoom meetings are not 100% as effective as meeting in person, they're 80% as effective. And then just 2 seconds on delegating. Look at the work that you're doing. I mentioned briefly earlier, $10 an hour work, $100 an hour work, and $1,000 an hour work. When you look at the work that you are doing during the course of the day, and you start to kind of track, is this a $10 an hour task? It needs to happen. But from a owner of the business standpoint, is this my most valuable time? $100 work, which might be doing your estimating, that type of work, a little more valuable, right? But still, maybe I can delegate some of that. And then you got your $1,000 work. What is the work that you do that is the most valuable work for you? I saw Alan's name pop up earlier. When Alan is meeting with a new prospect for the first time, nobody in his business can do that as well. When Alan is networking with architects and other trade partners, that is incredibly valuable time. When somebody is analyzing their financials and looking at job cost reports and making adjustments and tweaks and improvements based on that, that is as valuable work as you can. So when it comes to delegating, if you can identify those $10 an hour jobs, if you can identify some of that $100 jobs, and you can delegate that off your plate, that goes a long ways. Okay. Can I use that, or do I need an expert to design and manage it? Ernie, are you referring to Remodelers Autopilot? So Remodelers Autopilot is not necessarily a CRM system. As far as designing and managing the CRM, there's a lot of different options. Rhonda, what's the program that you use for that? I know you've got one. Ernie, there is a little bit of designing to the CRM. The big thing is just keep it simple. Keep it simple. A lot of my clients use Builder Trend and Co-Construct for their sales funnel and CRM aspect of it. What I described as far as identify what each of those areas are of your sales pipeline, organize it around that. Yeah, so we can talk more about that in details, Ernie, but there's a little design that goes into it. Keep it simple. And as far as managing it goes, it'd be great. That a lot of times updating your CRM, adding new people into your CRM is a $10 an hour type work where you might be able to find somebody to help you with that. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Rhonda says, I love having a VA. I agree that having meetings is a good thing. Excellent. Somebody on Facebook said, I struggle with training and delegating. I'm growing my business and I need to get more off my plates. Good. Let me see if I can find who wrote that. Love your guys' engagement here. Tate wrote that. So I struggle with training and delegating. So Tate, pay attention to that $10, $100 and $1,000 side of things. Start to make a list as you work through your week this week. Start to make a list of items that are just not valuable for you to be focusing on. Let's get a good list going. And there's an opportunity to find VAs. I have a bookkeeper who I've never met, done Zoom calls with her, have never met in person. She's only 45 minutes away, so we could if we wanted, but we've never had to. And she's been able to take that part of my business over, and it's more organized and polished than ever has been before. Once you start to identify the tasks, you can see, does it make sense for me to have a VA? Can I assign some of these tasks to somebody that can just specialize in that? On my team, we have Kristen, who is down in Georgia. Bailey, is that right? I think she's in Georgia. Bailey works with her more, but we've now gotten things where I've delegated it to Bailey, and now there's a section of work that Bailey's delegating to Kristen so that Bailey can focus on her $1,000 an hour work. So first, just identify the things, Tate. Think with fresh eyes and a fresh mind of what are things that I'm doing that I don't need to be focused on, that I don't need to be doing. Start making a list of that, and then come back to another Remodeler show, and let's talk about that list, or you and I can talk. All right. Rhonda uses a CRM called Copper. Works well with all things Google. All right, excellent. So edit, I think I'm not catching, I'm not going after all. This is a big red flag for a headache. So edit, I think you may have typed in your question, but it's not coming through here. So Bailey, if you could circle back with edit and get whatever her question was, and we'll answer it on an upcoming episode of the Remodeler Show. All right, you guys killed it. Ask Kyle anything. Let's see, what else do we have here? It's coming up on the 2-minute warning. Actually, we got some time yet. I have a remote bookkeeper, works very well. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, so that's Tate. Yeah, so what's the next thing? And Tate, even put that in there. What's something else that you're doing right now that you need to delegate? Try to identify that. Another thought that I had for you is just to think through a little bit. I had a reminder pop up the other day, and I sent it to myself. I use a program called followupthen.com, followupthen.com. So I'll send an email. If I'm just sending it to myself, I might be 2 weeks at followupthen.com, and in the subject line, I'll kind of put whatever I want it to be reminded of. Or I'll send a follow-up to a prospect, and I'll BCC, 2 days at followupthen.com. So I'm reminded, I get an email at the pre-specified follow-up time. But I had a reminder pop up the other day that I sent myself when we were in the shutdown and kind of the worst parts of the virus side of things. And I wrote, what are the lessons we need to remember from this? How do we prepare for the next surprise? This virus and how it shut us down here in Michigan, totally shut us down. And nationwide, it got very quiet on new calls and lots of things that happened. It was a total surprise. How do we prepare for the next surprise? We don't know when it's coming. What lessons do we need to learn, and how can we better prepare? This might be looking hard at our overhead and our expenses in the business, and maybe there's some cuts that we need to make there. Maybe there's some additional investments in marketing that we need to make so that our brand is growing and we have more leads that we can choose from. What about on just on the cash reserves and the savings side of our business? Do we need to continue to focus to build that up so that we're in a stronger financial position? What else comes to mind? So that was something I think is wise for us to be thinking about and to be considering. And those are a few ideas I had related to that. All right. So what did we cover today? As we enter into the 2-minute warning, let's get a little.
It's the 2-minute warning.
It's the 2-minute warning. What did we learn today? I started off today's show by talking about leaning into tough conversations, leaning into serving and helping and encouraging others, even when we have other things going on in our lives. Instead of leaning away from it, instead of trying to avoid a messy situation, to be somebody that leans into that runs into the fire, quote unquote, like we see or like we hear from firefighters. So that was something. Another thing we talked about is honor the absent. Honor the absent. That should be something that, if that resonates with you, those words should come out of your mouth in teaching your team, in teaching your kids, in trying to embed that into the fabric and culture of your business. We did the marketing 6 minutes, not the marketing minute, but the marketing 6 minutes. And we focused in on, by the way, what's your takeaway from today? You guys chime in as well. I'm just kind of recapping the show for you. We are content creators. You are a content creator, whether you like it or not. If you had a ideal prospect walking with you on one of your job sites, what are some of the things that you would be pointing out to them? Feature your team, make your business more real, show your people, tag them in it, and see how keep experimenting with creating new content. It's going to continue to be more and more important in the years ahead. All right. Rhonda says, my takeaway, which was perfect for today, excellent, was honor the absent. Rockin'. Anybody else have any other takeaways? And thank you for coming strong with the Ask Kyle Anything. That really carried and helped the show today, and I appreciate it. I'm looking for one more takeaway, and then we're going to dismiss. Gotta get comfortable with silence and awkwardness while you wait. Which, by the way, when you present a number, to a prospect, you kind of say, and this is going to be, $72,500. Practice shutting up then and being quiet, letting them respond. Make time for your priorities, the things that truly matter. Amen, Sister Bailey. All right. Hey, if you heard something today that you liked, go out there and work on implementing it. I'll be back tomorrow with my friend Ed Earl at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Thanks, y'all.